We're working continuing coverage tonight of the Aaron Hernandez guilty verdict.
The former Patriots star is serving the first full day of his life sentence for the shooting death of Odin Lloyd.
Meanwhile, prosecutors are reflecting on the case, and Lloyd's friends and loved ones are remembering the young murder victim.
Eyewitness News reporter Todd Wallace is standing by with reaction from Lloyd's Boston neighborhood.
But first, let's go live to Eyewitness News reporter Susan Campbell, who covered the Hernandez trial every step of the way.
Prosecutors say today they are relieved, and they say they're thankful they were able to give Odin Lloyd's loved ones some measure of peace. As Aaron Hernandez begins a life sentence without the possibility of parole, the team that prosecuted the $40 million tight end is basking in the relief of that moment when they heard the word guilty.
The appropriate verdict was rendered.
The jury did not find him guilty of first-degree murder based on premeditation. Was that a surprise to you?
I would say no. I mean, obviously, one could conclude that he was taken there for the purposes of killing him, but who knows? Maybe they thought it was a confrontation that just took place right away. Maybe there was an argument, but that's within their prerogative.
What do you think was the most important piece of evidence that was introduced?
I think psychologically, the video was very important.
But the whole thing, a lot of it was very circumstantial. Some legal analysts have called it a stunning victory. Did you feel that way?
Absolutely not. It was an appropriate verdict based on the evidence, all woven together.
Hernandez will serve his life sentence at the Sousa Baranowski Correctional Center in Shirley, Massachusetts. His guilty verdict triggers an automatic appeal. Today, I asked prosecutors if it was difficult to try this case without a murder weapon. They said not at all. They say it's actually more common to not have a murder weapon in cases like this. Coming up new at 6, hear what the DA had to say when I asked him if he thought Cheyenne Jenkins was lying on the stand. Live in Fall River with the Southeastern Massachusetts Mobile Newsroom, Susan Campbell, Eyewitness News.
Now the Aaron Hernandez guilty verdict. The former football player, now a convicted murderer, has been behind bars in Walpole now for a full 24 hours.
New at 6, the district attorney tells us if he thinks the killer's fiancée, Cheyenne Jenkins, lied on the stand. Eyewitness News reporter Susan Campbell joins us now live outside Fall River Superior Court.
The DA never committed to the word lie, but he did say he didn't find Cheyenne Jenkins' testimony to be credible. When the guilty verdict was read, Aaron Hernandez's fiance crumbled. But all along, prosecutors have said they believe Cheyenne Jenkins played a part in covering up the crime by tossing evidence, including the murder weapon, at Hernandez's request.
Do you think Cheyenne Jenkins lied on the stand?
I would say that Cheyenne Jenkins had some interesting responses to the questions, like she didn't know what dumpster she put in a very important piece of evidence from her fiancé. I don't think anybody found that to be credible.
Jenkins was granted immunity for her testimony at Hernandez's trial, but she still faces a perjury charge accused of lying to the grand jury.
Her case, one way or the other, will work itself out.
Meanwhile, the DA says the cases against Hernandez's alleged co-conspirators, Carlos Ortiz and Ernest Wallace, are moving forward.
Will there be a deal for these other two defendants?
To discuss whether there would be a deal or not is not in existence now and too speculative.
Carlos Ortiz's attorney tells me he spoke with Ortiz right after the verdict came down. He said the verdict was expected, and he has always maintained his client's innocence. Coming up new at 6:30 over on Fox Providence, hear from prosecutors about some of the challenging moments of this trial. Live in Fall River with the Southeastern Massachusetts Mobile Newsroom, Susan Campbell, Eyewitness News.